Welcome. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the Pacific Trails, Chapter 7, and we're going to go straight from here. I have duplicated my Pacific Trails. I renamed it Chapter 7. I went and I made sure that I renamed it here. Actually, I haven't renamed it yet. Need to make sure I name it Chapter 7. Okay, and then I'm going to go through, and what we're doing here, you can see from the textbook, we are doing a 2-column page layout in Chapter 7. So what we want it to look like is now we're going to have the navigation on the left. And this is only for a large screen size, but right now, in this book, they have us walking through where we're doing large to small. So chapter 8, we kind of destroy everything we've done and restart. But let's go ahead and do chapter 7 real quick. Wanted to make sure that I have the 6th edition because I think the one that some people have used was from the 5th edition. So let's go ahead and go through this. We have 5 tasks in this case study. Got the new folder. We're editing the style sheet. Okay, we're editing the home page, the yurts page, and the activities page. All right. So we've done task 1. We're doing task 2. Let's go ahead and launch. I'm going to open my Explorer, go to Pacific.css, close my Explorer. Apologize ahead of time for any sort of weird comments in the back. This was the instructor version. I am going to format this document. I do not like, there we go. This, you should never have a style on the same line as your selector. Your selectors start and then you have one style per line. So there we go. That is the common way to format. If for some reason your indenting and your formatting is getting weird and you're using Visual Studio Code, you can do that trick that I just did. Right click or control click and format the document. It's going to make it look much nicer. All right. So right now we don't have our universal selector yet, which is a border box. That is to make it so that the border box is determining the size of the page rather than just the individual boxes. This is a part of the box model. Let's go ahead and do that. Box sizing. It's very common. You pretty much will always use box sizing border box. There's not really an instance where you won't. So, all right, now we're going to do the wrapper ID selector. So let's find the wrapper ID. Here we go. Right now the background color is white. We could take a look actually at what things look like right now. Show preview. So right now, our background color is that blue color, it looks like, or the white. Okay, for the wrapper is enclosing everything. Let's see. Okay, so let's go and look at this. So right now the wrapper encloses everything here. Here's line 14. And if I close this whole thing, I collapse it, I see that it's basically the entire body. What's interesting, technically, if we were, since the div ID is the wrapper, sometimes we would use the body as the selector rather than having a wrapper. But this is one way of forcing a layout, is having that anonymous div element and giving it an ID. Okay. The reason why we would do something like this is if not all pages are always going to have the wrapper styles that we want. So that's fine. Let's go ahead and do that. And then we're going to change it from white to blue, which is this 09 90C7E3. Change that in there. Just kidding. Won't let me. Whoops. Hashtag 90 7E3. There it is. Okay. Okay, so that looks weird for now. That's fine. Now we're going to configure a 1 pixel solid dark blue border. Okay, so now we want a border. I'm going to put the border right above the box shadow border. And then it is 1 pixel solid dark blue. Hashtag 000. There it is. Okay. Okay. And then we're going to copy the background image style declaration for the linear gradient from the body selector. This will display behind the navigation bar. Copy the background image style selector for the linear gradient for the body. We're copying this and we're putting it in the, we're copying and pasting it into the wrapper. Background image. That makes it display behind. Okay. Okay. Now we're changing the body element selector. We're changing the background color from the body to EA. Remove the background image and background repeat. So removing this. Background color. We're now making it hashtag EA. Okay, so it's this nice pale gray. Okay, so now it looks a little weird, right? That's okay. Let's see what we're going to do now. The header element selector. So we're going to remove, remove style declarations that configure the background image. Okay, we're removing this. All of it. Background image. Okay, all of that. And we're setting the height. Height is to 120. So we're extending the height a little bit. And then padding top to 30 pixels. So remember, we go top 30 pixels, right 0, bottom 0, left 3 EM. So it goes goes clockwise from the top. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, so now we just have our header is bigger. It doesn't have the background picture anymore. Okay, and then the H1 element selector is configuring to 3 EM font size. Okay, so we're changing letter spacing. Okay, so this is giving the margins. We'll leave that there. The font size. Font family. I'm going to do font size before font family. And then I'm going to say 3 EM. Okay, so we made it really big up there. And letter spacing. Letter spacing is now, we're kind of spreading it out a little bit, 0.25 EM. Ah, yes. Okay, so it's very big now across the page. Okay, the navigation, we're going to make it float now on the left. So we're going to remove the background color. Okay, so now it picks up the gradient. And we're going to remove the text align. No longer center. Okay, so now it's over on the left. And then we're going to change the padding to 1.5. Add a 1.5 EM. The font size will be 120%. So a little bit bigger than 12. And this is huge over here because I have it zoomed in on my, I have it zoomed, my actual editor is zoomed in so you can see better. Okay, so configure a left float and a width of 160 pixels. Okay, so width of 160 pixels and float left. So now it's over the image because it's floating. And the reason why it's below the header is because that's where it lines up on in our index document, right? So now, and this is all in the name of 2 columns. Okay. The home hero ID selector. Okay. So we need a margin now. So now we're going to push everything over. This is one of those things where we're doing it for practice, but not necessarily what we would do in real life. Okay, I'm going to find the home hero. I'm going to Control F. Home hero, here it is. Okay, so I need a left margin. Goodness, okay, sorry for the loudness. Margin left is 190 pixels. And then the background image is now coast2.jpg. Oh, I don't have a coast2.jpg. Let's see. We need a coast2. What happens if I keep it coast1? It gets scrunched over, I think. Let's see. Yeah, it looks fine to me. I'm going to leave it for now. Okay. I could go in the course and find the coast2.jpg, but I'm not going to right now because apparently it looks good to me. Yurt hero, I'm going to do the same thing. So let's zoom back in here. Yurt hero. I'm going to copy that margin left. Give it a margin left there and trail hero. So we're scooting everything over so it has the margin on the left. Again, not exactly what I would do for our 2-column layout. But this is fine for now. You're forcing it. It's a lot of forcing, and that's the thing with this, the way that we're styling right now. We're forcing things to align the way we want, and in responsive design, we want things to align naturally based on our screen size, and so that's what chapter 8 is going to go over. Okay, so the main element selector, let's go back up. Find main, here it is. We're going to have a white background. Background color, white. There we go. So now the main is actually looking the way we want it to. And 150 pixels left margin. I already have that set up. Enter, there we go. Okay, so we're forcing this 2-column look. That works. And we're going to change the left padding. So left is the last one, 30 pixels. Okay, so it's a little bit more over. And we're going to make, to allow for the main element to contain floated elements, also set overflow to auto. Okay, so overflow auto. The section element. Okay, so configure a style rule to set a left float 33. Okay, so let's find the section. We don't have a section yet. Okay, looks like we need a section. Sorry. Okay, so it's having us do everything in the... Okay, we don't have sections yet. This is going to be for our yurts. I think we have... Nope. This is where we destroy our list and turn it into... We're going to turn it into sections. So let's go ahead and a section. We'll go ahead and put it after the unordered list. Okay. Section. Okay. And then in the section, we're going to configure a style rule to set a left float. Float left. And then it's going to have width of 33% because we're going to have 3 columns here. That's what we're ultimately going for. Left our padding. Padding left 2 EM and padding right 2 EM. I'm just going to do it shorthand or like longhand typically. Padding left, padding right. I could do, if I want left and right, I could do 0 space 2 EM. That's going to give me, without the left, padding 0 top and bottom, left and right 2 EM. That does the same thing. Okay. And now I'm going to configure the unordered list in the main content area. Replace the UL element selector with a descendant selector main UL. So now, so this one is now a descendant main UL. Okay, that's it. Okay, so I just changed it so that only the main ULs are going to have that. That means I'm going to have other unordered lists available. And then now I'm going to, let's see, the footer element selector. So I have the footer. And I'm going to configure styles to set 190 pixel left margin. Do it right here. Margin left 190 pixel. And white background color. Because, yeah, I don't want this blue anymore. This footer is not going to be blue. It's going to be white. That makes sense. Let's do background color up there. Okay. There we go. So it kind of looks like it's in the same area. And now I'm going to use the navigation area. So here I have my navigation. I'm going to style the unordered list. So I'm going to configure a nav UL selector. Okay. So I'm right under here, nav UL. And it's going to be no list markers. List style type none. Margin 0. Padding left 0 and font size 1.2 EM. Okay, let's see. Okay, well, that's what it looks like over here. Now I'm going to style unvisited navigation hyperlinks. Okay, I'm going to use a pseudo link. So let's see. Navigation hyperlinks. So navigation hyperlinks is this nav A. So how about I do nav A visited is going to be color hashtag 5C7 FA3. Okay. So now if I go to yurts, should oh, that's unvisited. Oh, unvisited. Okay, hold on. Let's see. This should be unvisited? No, hold on. A link. Ah, there we go. These are the unvisited. And now visited should be dark blue. And 7.3. Okay, let's see if that works. Meh. Doesn't work here, but it should work live. That's okay. Now, interactive. Hover. Oh, I love the hover. Hover is my favorite. I like when you hover over something that it actually does something. I think it's a good extra bonus. 52 A2A. Oh, red. Weird. Ah, that looks nice. Okay, see how it's hovering. I can see the color. Use the sentence selector. Use the sentence selectors to configure hyperlinks within the header element with no underline white. Okay, so right now we're going to actually change specific tutorials into a hyperlink, and so we're going to make it so that when it is a hyperlink, there's not going to be like a link or any indication, so that's okay. So we're going to go up to, since this is the header, I want to go up and configure the header links, header, descendant selector A. Now I'm going to have text decoration, none. I don't like that we haven't done the HTML yet, so it's kind of like, we don't know what's going to happen once we do it. That's okay. And then white color is hashtag FFFFF. And then we have header A for link is this same thing, color. And then we have header A visited is also, and then finally this whole hover is going to have like a gray color. Hover is going to be a light blue, 90 C7. Okay, so that. All right. Okay, it should be good. Let's see. Let's make sure that the CSS validator is good. I'm going to go here by direct input, put that in here, check it. Yay, good to go. All right. Okay, so now we're making the index. We're going to go into the index. I had, by the way, autosave set up. So there's no dot here. If you don't have autosave, go to File. Make sure the autosave is enabled. I'm using the Visual Studio Code. I prefer that. Okay, so right now, these are still as regular links. Oh my goodness. Normally, we always have these in an ordered list. So we're finally going to do that the right way. Li. 1. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're making these. This is a standard. This is standard. It's kind of how we probably should have taught from day one, but that's okay. This book takes us a little bit roundabout to get to what we actually do. I'm going to take these. Now I set up my unordered list, and now I'm going to cut them. Just cut the links, paste them right inside the list element. I don't want any extra spaces. And you notice I set up my HTML first, and then I'm placing the content. I'm using cut paste here. I think cut paste makes more sense, especially when you're moving elements around on a web page. I think a lot of us are so used to using mice, so try to get used to your keyboard. I've barely used my mouse, only to navigate between my pages rather than actually within my document. Within my document, I do a lot of arrows on my keyboards. The shortcuts for cutting and pasting, Command X, Command V, Control X, Control V. Okay, so now I'm making the text. So I did this. I did the unordered list and I removed that. So it doesn't change anything. You notice that? I kind of wish that we would have seen, okay, there was an intermediary step, because if we hadn't have styled already our unordered list, then we would see the same, remember on the home page, how these little dots, right? We would still see that. Why are they two different sizes? Font size here. Oh, because font size here. So in this is how it looks now, right? And because our font size is bigger, so this was the old way it looked. This is the new way. Not a ton of difference, but they are bigger. I feel like they need some spacing. Anyways, okay. So now it says that we need to make our title, not this title, that's in the head. The H1, we're going to wrap it in a link. Okay, so the way I did that, I'm going to link it to index.html because that's my homepage. Now, again, I am taking, notice here, it has that cursor, that little line. It's indicating, hey, there's something supposed to be there. It's empty. This is not a link yet. So I'm going to take this, cut it, and paste it in my link. So now my entire H1 is a link. There we go. And it has that same hover color. If I go to Yurts, it's the old way. So probably means I'm going to have to copy and paste this somewhere. Okay, I'm modifying the page the same way. Okay, so modify, examine wireframe and figure 7.50. Okay, so first, modify the page in a similar manner. So really, I just need to go in, and I'm going to take all this that I just did in index, and I'm going to go do it in yurts now. So I'm going to, here we go, paste that, okay. I'm going to paste it into activities too while I'm at it. It's going to tell us to do that later anyways. Paste it. There we go. Whoops. That's weird. What happened? Oh, the end of my nav. Hold on. That's weird. Hold on. What did I do? When I copied this, ooh, okay. Make sure I copy all the way. Okay. Paste that. Okay, there we go. Yep. What about my yurts? Oh yeah, I messed the yurts up too. I didn't end my navigation, so I was like, what are you doing? There we go. Okay. Whew. Okay, so we're on the yurts, okay. HTML, I edited it, so now my header, okay, my header is all set. Okay, it says, notice there are 3 distinct sections within the main element. So here we have these sections. So basically we're changing the description list, remove the tags that configure the description list from the page, and notice that the text content is a series of questions and answers. Configure each question within an H3, configure each answer within a paragraph. And then code a section element to contain each question, answer, pair. Save your file and text it. Okay, so what I'm going to do to tackle this before I start. So first of all, I know, okay, my H2 is good. Leave that alone. But I'm going to alter all of these lists and turn it into a section with an H3 and sort of like subsections, right? So I have 3 sections on my yurts page. I'm going to talk about what is a yurt, how are the yurts furnished, and what should I bring. So I'm going to start by making a section with an H3 and a paragraph. This is the structure of each of these that I'm gonna cut and paste everything into. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna say, there we go, and there we go. And then if I really was feeling like, oh, I might get lost, I could put comments for what these are gonna be. But now I'm just gonna cut. I'm gonna cut this. What is a yurt? Okay. I'm getting rid of the strong part because it's in a heading now, so I don't need the strong anymore. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this, paste it here. Okay, I'm going to cut this and paste it here. But I'm going to go all the way to the end of this. I know I have an extra tag there. Get rid of that. Okay, cool. So let's see what's happening on our page. Oh, what the heck? You see how it's happening here? So I want to show you this because we use the float element. So all sections are supposed to float. So what's happening here is it's pushing everything over, all the other text over this detail text and detail list, and it's pushing it over so that it has this nice section here. So that's what we're doing. We're creating these 3 sections. These are empty, so they're not doing anything. I can get rid of this one now. And then I'm going to take this question. And I'm going to paste it in the next H3. Get rid of that line. Delete it. And let's see. I'll go down to the end of the line now. Actually, I could just do Command X. If I put my cursor on a line and I cut it right away, it's going to cut the entire line. Now I'm going to paste it. And then I'm going to get rid of the DD. Oops. Cut this. And I don't like that. That wasn't a good way of doing it. Okay. Okay, that works. Let's see, what should I bring? Cut this. Paste this. Cut this. I'll learn not to do the whole line. Although I could. Perfect. Okay, look at that. Get rid of the empty stuff here. There we go. Make sure not to get my main. Now it's all floated. Look at that. It's nice. Take a look. Okay, we have a 2-column design for the yurts page. We already made it for the Pacific Trails. So all that pushing over, and that's the thing with this page layout, is we forced the layout. Not loving that we forced it, but sometimes we got to do that. And because we're forcing things around, that means we're going to need to make sure that we have media queries and responsive design features because of all this forcing around that we're doing. Look at that. We're done. Yay. We're done with this one. Okay. Now we have to do the activities page. I have it open right here. Modify the page the same way as the home page. So I copied and pasted the header and navigation, updated with the unordered list, and updated with Pacific Trails as a. Let's see. I'm going to go to the activities page. So we're looking at it. There we go. It's got the list. Great. The link. And now we're going to do. There are 3 sections with the main element, code of section element, to contain each pair. Okay, so contain each pair means that this is the same thing. It's, I don't know why it didn't show us, but it wants us this to be identical to this. Okay, so it's going to have 3 across. We're going to put each of these into a section. So notice now it's the H3 and paragraph pair just like it was before. So I'm going to give myself some space, make a section. This time I'm going to cut the ending tag of the section, go down to the paragraph, paste it in there. I'm going to make a new line, go to section. I'm going to cut the end and paste it there. Cut the end. Paste it there. Notice I'm giving it its very own. Now, what did that do? All that did was give us a 3-column layout within our main. That's great. Now, the next, this is it. This is easy. Okay, so now we have a 2-column layout. So what do? We force things to look a certain way to a 2-column by using floats and by having fixed width layouts. Now we don't actually use floats for layout anymore, and so we're going to wreck that in the next chapter. Let's take a look at it.